Welcome back to the cryptowrld channel, everyone. My name is Josh, and right now Bitcoin is starting to struggle at this exact area of resistance that we need to pay attention to. And so due to this reason right here, I've just taken some more profits out of this Bitcoin long position, but still overall long on the price of Bitcoin on this BTNX account and also on my 2bit account, still in this $100,000 Bitcoin long position. So in just a moment, I'll be giving you an update on my exact trading strategy moving forward, along with the Bitcoin liquidation heat map now revealing more liquidity building just above the price of Bitcoin, which we need to pay attention to, along with Ethereum starting to struggle and retest this key area of resistance here, while the price of XRP is continuing a major bullish breakout towards a bullish price target. So I'll be talking about all of that and more later in the video, so definitely watch to the end. First of all, starting off on the weekly Bitcoin price chart, and the super trend indicator is still sitting in the green, indicating a larger bull market. And on this weekly Bitcoin price chart, we still have a massive bearish divergence not yet been invalidated. So keep that in mind. Still something to watch out for on the weekly time frame. But if we're taking a look at the 3-day Bitcoin price chart, we're now basically picking up a little bit more bullish momentum in the short term, moving closer towards that bullish crossover here in the 3-day Bitcoin MACD. And obviously, I've been talking about this basically every day for around a week now on the channel, and especially over the last few days, we have seen more bullish price action as predicted. So especially if we confirm this bullish crossover in this indicator on this time frame, maybe in a few days from now or over the next 1 week or so, of course, that'll be a major bullish signal to watch out for, because the last couple of times that happened in the 3-day Bitcoin MACD, a bullish crossover here, we did end up seeing a lot more bullish price action still to come. And so obviously this is some good news on the 3-day Bitcoin price chart, telling us we're now starting to regain more bullish momentum, at least in the shorter term. And if we're taking a look at this daily Bitcoin price chart, obviously the price of Bitcoin is continuing to bounce from this exact area, which I've been talking about since before the price perfectly bounced from this area in between around 106.7k to 107.6k. And so continue to expect a lot of support in that area right there. But before we could even reach that area, of course, we have a lot of support right here that I'll be expecting in between around 113,000 to 113.5k if the price were to pull back. I'm not saying we will hit those levels. I'm just saying if we were to see some sort of pullback, expect support at that area based on previous resistance flipping into new support. And also that was previous support back around here, close to 113,000 give or take. And as for resistance, obviously the price of Bitcoin has been running into my exact area that I've been targeting for days now, since all the way back down here when the price was at around 112k, 113k, especially once we broke out above 113k. Obviously, I've been talking about this ascending triangle pattern on the 4-hour Bitcoin price chart ever since we saw this breakout at around 113,000. And so from that point onwards, I've been talking about this exact price target here at 116.5k and this exact level of resistance right here at around 117,000. So I've been targeting since around 113,000, I've been targeting 116.5k to 117,000 as the next major area of resistance to watch out for. And so obviously the price has moved exactly into that exact range that I've been targeting, and now starting to struggle in that area as predicted. But keep in mind, we're technically still within a shorter term bullish trend here on the 4-hour time frame, despite the fact that the price is struggling a little bit around this major resistance here. Of course, we've not yet confirmed a new bearish trend or trend reversal out of this bullish trend. So at least for now, it is entirely possible we could, for example, see a few more retests, maybe struggle a little bit, and then ultimately break out towards the upside, because at least for now, once again, we're still regaining a little bit more bullish momentum based on this MACD indicator on the 3-day time frame, and of course still within that short-term bullish trend on the 4-hour time frame. And so if the price of Bitcoin actually breaks out above 117,000 with confirmation, in that situation I'd be targeting approximately 120,000 as a very crucial level on the price chart. 120,000 as the next potential major point of resistance if we first break out above 117,000, and then above both of those levels I'd be targeting basically the all-time high at close to 124,000. And what's very interesting is if we're taking a look at the Bitcoin liquidation heat map, just over the last one day, we're now starting to build a little bit more liquidity just above the price of Bitcoin at around 116.9k. So very close to 117,000. We still have some liquidity building right there. And so what this tells us is that it's quite likely that maybe in the next couple of days or so, the price of Bitcoin at some point very soon could likely see another retest of this resistance here at closer towards 117,000. So keep that in mind. That's a very likely scenario just in the short term within the next few days or so. And obviously we also have a major area of liquidity below the price sitting at roughly 110,000 or just above 110,000. But keep in mind, between the current price and that lower area of liquidity, once again, we have a lot of support, especially at around 113,000 to 113.5k. I'd expect a lot of support right here for the price of Bitcoin if we were to actually see a pullback. And remember, the short-term situation is still looking more bullish than it is bearish overall in terms of the trend and momentum, despite the fact that we're currently struggling a little bit around some major resistance. And so when we consider all of this information, put it all together, it's unlikely we'll hit this liquidity all the way down here at close to 110,000 due to the fact that we're overall looking more bullish than bearish in terms of the short-term trend and momentum. And so that means it's much more likely that within the next couple of days, we're going to move towards close to 117,000, likely see another retest of this resistance. And then it's possible we could struggle a little longer before maybe at some point in a few days from now or a week from now, for example, seeing a breakout. And so based on all of this information, looking at my Bitcoin trading strategy, currently I'm still long on the price of Bitcoin, but over the last one day, right around this major resistance here, obviously due to the fact that the price is struggling around some major resistance, I have taken a little bit more profits off the table out of this Bitcoin long position, but not closing the entire trade, so still remaining long on Bitcoin, just simply taking some profits. And so a couple of days ago, I shared this trade here on the channel. It was around a $250,000 Bitcoin long position. In my last video, I believe it was around a $150,000 Bitcoin long position. Currently, as of recording this video, it's around a $100,000 Bitcoin long position over on my BTNX account. And so currently, this long position on my BTNX account is about $2,500 USD in unrealized profits and now secured over $4,500 USD in realized profits. And so in just a few days, in less than half a week, this one little trade right here making easily $7,000 USD in profits. And of course, this Bitcoin long position, which I still have open over on my 2bit account, is also over $1,000 USD in unrealized profits, around $1,500 in unrealized profits. And I've made really no new change to this position over the last one day. I may have slightly adjusted the stop losses, which you can see right here on these accounts. But other than the slight reduction in the size of the Bitcoin long position on my BTNX account, I've really made no new other changes, especially to this long position on my 2bit account. And so basically, even in the worst case scenario now, let's just say if we were to see a major rejection like this, for example, I'm not saying that will happen, but if that were to happen, essentially I've already secured some profits out of this Bitcoin long position, and my stop losses for both of these trades right here on both of these exchanges are sitting in some slight profits. So even in the worst case scenario, these are still profitable trades. And of course, like I said earlier in the video, if we ultimately break out above this resistance, maybe in a few days from now, maybe after a little bit more of a struggle, if we ultimately break out, obviously these long positions will continue to print some easy profits as we head further towards the upside, towards 120,000 as the next major target. And so that is my exact Bitcoin trading strategy, sharing with you exactly how I'm planning to make a lot of easy profits in this market right now, and giving you my exact predictions and the key levels to watch out for the price of Bitcoin. And so if you haven't already, make sure you're set up ready to go on a crypto exchange in order to take these trading opportunities if you want to. And personally, I'm taking this trade right here over on BTNX, so I'll make sure to leave a link to BTNX below this video in the description and in the pinned comment. And if you use that link, it'll take you to this page right here where you can claim massive trading bonuses up to 25,000 USDT in trading bonuses simply just by trading crypto using that link. And there's also deposit bonuses and things like that using the link below this video. So if you're going to be trading crypto anyway, you might as well check this out. Once again, first link below this video. And in case you're wondering, BTNX is a no KYC exchange, which means you can access it from basically any country in the world without needing any KYC. But as always, check your local regulations when it comes to trading crypto. And if you don't want BTNX as an exchange, once again, the other Bitcoin long position, which I have open right now, is over on my 2bit account. So I'll also make sure to leave a link to 2bit below this video. And if you use that link, it'll take you to this page right here where you can claim some major bonuses. For example, you can claim 10,000 USDT in trial fund bonuses plus 8,000 USDT in actual withdrawable USDT cash essentially. So basically free money from the exchange just by trading crypto. And on top of that, if you simply just make an account using the link below this video, you get a free $30 bonus onto your account and 1 month free VIP 3 upgrade. So basically lower trading fees and free money from the exchange just by simply making an account, doing no deposits or anything, making an account using that link below this video. You get free money here. And on top of that, you also have a first time deposit bonus. So for example, if you deposit $100, you get a $50 bonus, and there's other bonuses here. So basically a bunch of free money, free bonuses from the exchange just by using that link below this video to make your 2bit account. And in case you're wondering, yes, you can access 2bit without KYC as well. But with that being said, taking a look at the Bitcoin dominance chart on the 3-day time frame, and right now we're still clearly within a larger bearish trend, or basically a larger pullback for the Bitcoin dominance here on the 3-day time frame. And so obviously from time to time along the way towards the downside, we do see the occasional bounce or sideways consolidation, but overall, considering we're still within a larger pullback, of course this is good news for the altcoin market. As I've been saying basically the entire time, while we're continuing more bearish price action in the Bitcoin dominance, that's very good for altcoins. And we definitely saw that over the last 1 to 2 days, once again with this latest little drop here in the Bitcoin dominance here in the short term, alongside the fact that the price of Bitcoin obviously played out this bullish move while the Bitcoin dominance was playing out a bearish move. Basically, those two combinations right there help altcoins a lot to play out more bullish price action. And so for now, this is still the case, still pointing towards a continued altcoin season. And if we're taking a look at this 3-day Ethereum price chart, we're still trading in this same sideways price range in between this key support and this major resistance here. First of all, this support is still sitting in between around 3.9K to 4.1K, and this area of resistance is sitting in between around 4.8K to 4.9K. And just over the last 1 day, the price got pretty much very close towards around 4.8K, almost exactly towards 4.8K before we started to struggle very close to that level. And so this just shows us that at least in the short term, the price of ETH is still respecting this resistance and this support as support and resistance. And so that basically means continue to expect the price to struggle around this area of resistance, at least for a little longer. Now, of course, if the Bitcoin dominance continues a pullback here over the next few days and weeks, especially if the price of Bitcoin holds up well and ultimately breaks out while the Bitcoin dominance is pulling back, that's basically going to help Ethereum break into new all-time highs, maybe at some point in the next 1 or 2 weeks. But for now, we still have that final obstacle we need to break out above, which is this area, once again, in between 4.8K to 4.9K. And if we're taking a look at this daily Ethereum price chart, like I've already been saying over the last half a week, since all the way back down here, I've been saying no longer rely on this bearish divergence any longer. So in case you missed my last few videos, basically this bearish divergence has already played its part. It played out very nicely here for roughly 2 weeks, give or take. But I now expect a continued short-term bullish relief, potentially a continued retest of this resistance right here, especially if the price of Bitcoin breaks out towards the upside in the coming days. It's very likely that Ethereum will soon retest into this area in between 4.8K to 4.9K, but still expect some struggle in that area. And if we're taking a look at the price of Solana on the 2-day time frame, obviously, as I've been saying for a long time now on the channel, Solana's looking very bullish in terms of the longer term trend or the larger price structure, still clearly forming a larger bullish price structure, higher lows and higher highs, for example. And so now that we're breaking out above this key Fibonacci level here, sitting at around $230, the next major target to watch out for is basically this high back here, based on the candle closes, is sitting at roughly $260. So in between 260 to 265 is the next major area that I'll be watching, potentially acting as major resistance. And then above that area, if we could break out above 260 to 265, in that situation, the next major target will be at around 290 to 300. And as for support to watch out for, we have this level that we just recently recently broke out above, sitting at around 230. So if we see a slight little pullback, expect some support at around $230, and below that, some major support at around 215 to 216. And obviously, as I've been saying, basically ever since we broke out above this line right here on the 12-hour Solana price chart, breaking out from a rising wedge pattern, so ever since around $220, I've been saying expect a lot of strength, a major bullish move coming very soon after this breakout right here. And obviously, once we saw the breakout, that's exactly what played out as expected. This is a sign of strength breaking out from a typical bearish price pattern. Statistically speaking, a rising wedge is known as a bearish price pattern. So like I said, at this breakout, now that we're actually breaking out to the upside from a bearish price pattern, that's very good news. That shows that Solana is looking very strong. And so obviously from time to time, we do see the slight little setback and things like that, especially if, for example, Ethereum runs into major resistance. That can affect a lot of the altcoin market with these slight little setbacks, either a slight pullback or some choppy sideways price action. So obviously it's not just going to be a straight line towards the upside, but overall, clearly in terms of the trend and momentum, especially on the bigger picture here, we're still looking very bullish. And if we're taking a look at the price of XRP on the weekly time frame, technically speaking, despite what happens on slightly smaller time frames, we still have a massive bearish divergence to watch out for, with higher highs in the price and lower highs in the weekly XRP RSI. So just keep that in mind on the larger time frames. But if we're taking a look at this daily XRP price chart, obviously ever since we broke out back above around $2.90, that's been at least a short-term reversal signal pointing towards higher price targets. And so obviously, as I've been saying, since $2.90, once we broke out above that level, I've been targeting $3.08 to $3.10, and now the price has already hit that exact area and starting to surpass that area. So now the next major level to watch out for is sitting at roughly $230, especially in between $230 to $240 as the next major area of resistance to watch out for. And as for support, if we see any little pullback here, I'll now expect support at roughly $3.08 to $3.10. And if we were to break back below that area, in that situation, we still have a lot of support at $285 to $290 and also at $275 if the price were to get back to those levels. And if we're taking a look at this daily XRP price chart, obviously already for the last few days, we've confirmed this bullish breakout from a descending triangle pattern, setting up this bullish price target that I've already talked about over the last few days, sitting at around $3.82. But as I always say, it's important to understand that between the current price and this technical price target, which is currently active, of course, we have points of resistance along the way that we cannot ignore, where the price could possibly struggle at or reject from. And so once again, we're still possibly struggling a little bit at roughly 310, give or take. We're struggling to properly confirm a breakout here above 310, but really above that level, the next major area to watch out for is at just above $3.30, really in between $3.30 to $3.40 as a major area of resistance on the price chart. And this technical price target right here in this price pattern, this bullish breakout, would only invalidate completely if we see a break back below around $2.95, especially back below around $2.90. That would completely invalidate this bullish breakout and this bullish price target. But for now, once again, despite these slight little pullbacks, overall, when we're talking about the next few days or weeks, we're still looking pretty good here for the price of XRP, especially if the Bitcoin dominance continues this larger pullback, as I've been saying the entire time. If the Bitcoin dominance is continuing the larger pullback, that's really going to help XRP and a lot of the other major altcoins out there play out more bullish price action while we're seeing that pullback in the Bitcoin dominance. And if we're taking a look at the price of Chainlink on the daily time frame, Chainlink is now bouncing from this Fibonacci level, the 23.6% Fibonacci level, based on the Fibonacci retracement tool, from this swing low at around $11 to this swing high at just above $27 on the daily time frame. That places this 23.6% Fibonacci level at just above $22, around $22.20 to $22.40, give or take. And so that is the key level of support to watch out for if the price were to see any little pullback here. And as for resistance, we could find some resistance based on these daily candle closes here, sitting at around $25.20. And there's also a possible small inverse head and shoulders pattern forming right here if we were to first see a slight little pullback down towards, let's just say, $23.50, somewhere around there, come back up towards $25.20, and then break out above that level, that will possibly form an inverse head and shoulders pattern, a bullish price pattern that we need to be aware of. But for now, of course, we have that resistance at 25.20, and if we ultimately break out above that level, whether or not we form the right shoulder for the inverse head and shoulders pattern, if we break out above 25.20, the next major target would be these highs right here, which based on the daily candle closes are sitting at around 26.70 to 26.80, and the highs sitting at just above $27. So give or take $27 as the next major resistance if we first break out above 25.20. And clearly the larger trends, the larger price structure is still very much bullish for the price of Chainlink. Of course, during the larger or longer term bullish trend, we can see short-term pullbacks or short-term bearish trends during the much larger bullish trend. So at least for now, that is the situation. We've just completed a short-term pullback or short-term bearish trend during a larger bullish trend, and we're potentially now on the continuation, the next leg towards the upside in this larger bullish trend, kind of like what we saw back here, for example. But remember, as I've been saying throughout the video and many videos here on the channel, keep an eye on what Bitcoin and the Bitcoin dominance are doing, because especially if the price of Bitcoin breaks out while the Bitcoin dominance continues a pullback, if we continue to see that combination, which we have seen over the last couple of days, if that continues to play out for Bitcoin and the Bitcoin dominance, expect more bullish price action as a very likely scenario for Chainlink and a lot of the altcoin market. And so overall, those are my expectations and the key levels to watch out for all of these crypto assets, and of course my trading strategies moving forward. And if you want to actually take trades like this for yourself, obviously get set up ready to go using those links below this video to those exchanges if you want to claim these massive bonuses that are only available using those links. And if you want to actually know how you can trade just like this to make a lot of easy and quick profits in the crypto market, like what I'm doing right now on these exchanges, then make sure to watch these videos popping up right here on your screen. The video in the top left shows you how you can profit from bullish or bearish price action using long positions or short positions, and the video in the bottom left shows you how you can easily profit from choppy sideways price action. But anyway, that is everything that I have to say for today. I really hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you all in the next video.